Hello everybody, my name is Jai and welcome back to another model railway review. So I've got something a little bit different for you guys this time. It isn't a Victorian locomotive or a New South Wales locomotive. Instead, we're going to be taking a look at a locomotive that is from South Australia, and it has only just been released from SDS models. So without a further ado, drum roll please. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new release of the SDS models South Australian 900 class locomotive. The South Australian Railway's 900 class locomotives are considered to be the first ever mainline diesels to roam around the South Australian Railway network, with 10 of these units being built at the Islington Railway workshops between 1951 to 1953. These locomotives could be seen all around the South Australian Railway network, which included the Adelaide Hills line, pulling passenger and freight trains, including the famous overland service. Later in life, they also saw services up to Port Berry, Peterborough, and the Barossa lines. Unfortunately, by the late 1970s, all of the locomotives were starting to show their age and needed to be replaced. So by 1979 to 1985, all 10 of the 900 class locomotives were taken out of service, with 7 of them meeting the end of the cutter's torch and 3 of them being preserved. Thankfully, the leader of the class, 900 Lady Norrie, was one of the ones to be preserved, and now you can see her at the Port Adelaide South Australia Railway Museum. As for 909 and 907, they ran for a few more years with the steam range of Heritage Railway before being sold, and today are currently stored at Taylor Bennett Roundhouse and are waiting for conversion from broad to standard gauge. So yes, as you just saw from that intro, we are going to be taking a look at a 900 class locomotive. Now these have only just been released. I got mine from good old Toy World down in Geelong. Now the livery that I chose was the Australian National paint scheme, and it is 910. That's the number of this locomotive, and it's also DC. So yes, of course, no surprise. If you know my channel well, I only like to run DC locos at the moment, so of course I got a DC version. But all in all, that is everything that I have to say, so the only other thing that we can do now is, of course, go down to my good old kitchen table and unbox this thing and see what she looks like inside. So, let's begin this review. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you the box artwork before I do unbox this model. So we'll quickly look at the front. So as you can see, again, this is the model that we're going to be looking at, which is in Australian National, and it's 910. Now if we move on to the front, you can see we do have the glossy SDS models on the side there, made in China, and also for ages 14 and up. And on the other side we do have the postcode of where they are located. So that is what the box looks like. Now let's of course unbox the model. Let's take her out of the packaging. So, as you can see, it is definitely quite a gigantic model. This is probably going to be the biggest model that I have in my diesel collection, at least. Here she is. One thing that I can see that is very nice is that there's actually cab detail inside. If you remember my review of the NRs, there was actually no cab detail in those locos at all, so it's nice that they've actually done that little step forward. Here's what it looks like on the side. Well, I didn't have my fat fingers in the way. There you go, it's probably a bit better. And here's the back, as you can see. We've got underneath, and then of course we got the top, which looks very nice indeed. So the main reason why I got this particular model in this livery is mainly because I actually quite like Australian National, but also when you think about it, it does stand out to the rest. Like, don't get me wrong, like all the different 13 liveries look very nice, but to me this one stands out the most because it's the only one that's literally not brown or white. So it's the only one that's like golden green, or yellow green, however you want to say it. But yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do now is, of course, I'm going to quickly put this on the Lazy Susan, and we'll take some close-up details of this model and see what she has to offer. So we'll start out at the front, of course, and we'll start from the bottom to the top. So firstly, we've got the cow catcher with all these separately fitted little hoses. Also on the plough you've also got some white and yellow stripes, which of course look very nice. I'm not sure what these two little yellow things are, although someone who might know this particular loco can tell me. You've also got a standard KD coupler making our way to the middle of the loco. I'm not sure what that middle thing is. Might be some like little grill or something, or a little door handle. Well, actually no, there you go, there's the door handle there. And of course you got the nice logo of Australian National there. You got these two side grills, which I'm not exactly sure what they're meant to be for, but again, someone might know. You got the main headlight, and of course you got the two separate little headlights on the sides. As well as that, on the roof you've got the nice yellow striping going up to the roof, which I quite like that. As well as that, you've also got the little number 910 on the top there, which looks pretty cool. As for the cab interior, as you can see, we do have a few little bits and bobs in there, a few little chairs and what looks like to be a little table. So a pretty nice cab, although I kind of wish that there was maybe a couple little figures in there. Alright, so we've moved on to the side now, and as you can see, we do have this massive plain yellow bogie, which I will admit, like, it looks okay. In my opinion, it kind of makes the model look a bit ugly. I would have probably preferred them if they were black, but it still looks fairly nice with that. You've also got the little step ladder that goes up to the cab. You've also got the door that leads into the cab, which is nicely done. It looks like all that is separately fitted. You've also got a little mirror, I'm pretty sure, yeah, little mirrors. As well as that, on the sides of the front part of the locomotive, you do have some etched window wipers, so that's very nice. As we move on more into the middle, as you can see, we've got these little yellow things inside. I'm not sure what they're meant to represent, although I'm pretty sure it's meant to be like the framework or something inside, which looks pretty cool. And as well as that, you've obviously got all the little glass windows there. You've got all of these little separately fitted grills, which I'm not sure if they're etched or not, but I know that these ones here are etched, so, sorry, see-through metal etched grills. As well as that, we do have the Australian National, of course, on the side with 910C, and then we've got the 910 stamped on the side there, and we've got all these metal etched grills, which I'm pretty sure if we look close enough we could probably see bits of the motor in there. Now as for the back, now like I said before, there's quite a lot of separately little bits and pieces of hoses. So if I lift the model up here just a little bit, you can see how there's like tons and tons of little hoses, quite an astounding amount. But other than that, you've got these, what I'm assuming are the two front lights, or possibly rear lights as well. You do have the good old Katie coupler, the back door as well, which is separately fitted handrails and all that, which is nice. Again, I'm not sure what this little silver thing is, but all well. We've got this little side box thing, which I'm not sure what it's meant to be, but again, all well. We've also got some metal etched grills here, which looks very nice. And we also have this little separately fitted yellow bit of plastic that's going through. I'm not sure what it's meant to be, but it's like a little handrail or something, but that is separately fitted. We also do have the headlight on the back, which looks very nice. And as far as on the other side, as you can see, it's pretty much just the same. So that is what the model looks like around the sides and the front and back. So let's take a quick look now on the roof. So here is the roof, and as you can see, we do have the 910 number on the locomotive. I'm pretty sure we do have the separately fitted horns as well, which of course looks very nice. Moving more on the side of the model, we do have the two little exhausts and quite a few little fans, which obviously do not spin, but still looks pretty cool nonetheless. So that is what the roof looks like. The only other thing I'll quickly show you is the bottom, which of course doesn't really have that much detail, but I'll still show it off anyway. So yeah, all up, this is quite a astounding model, really. Like, sure, it's not like Precision standard quality and stuff like that, but it's still pretty high up. In my opinion, I do think SDS have definitely gained a bit more confidence and have actually put a bit more effort in their models now. Because, like saying with the NRs, they weren't this good, they didn't have any cab detail, and they were missing a few bits and pieces. But with this, there's separately fitted parts just absolutely everywhere, which is amazing. So if SDS, if I can say, they've done a really good job with this model. Definitely one of their more better models that they've just released, so very, very happy. Now, the next thing I'm going to quickly do is I'll quickly show you a close-up of the instructions. So let me do that quickly. So here is what the instruction manuals look like. So of course we'll start on the top. So we've got the 900 class diesel electric locomotive, and of course we've got the instructions. So here is model overhaul. So I'm assuming like if you need to pull the thing apart or whatever. Next we've got removing off the loco body. And of course we've got a nice picture of showing the locomotive being pulled apart. And we do have the little steps of what you're meant to do to disassemble it. Then you got a little warning thing telling you just to be careful with the model. After that you've got installing DCC. Of course it'll talk about how to install it, stuff like that. Spare parts. Then we got warranty, of course, so blah de blah de blah. Next we'll quickly look at the diagram. So here is what the diagram looks like. And honestly, look at the amount of separately fitted parts there are. Jeezums. That is a lot of separately fitted parts. But anyway, that is the instructions now done. Next, I think the next thing to do now is to take this locomotive to the Carrara Model Railway Club and see how she runs there. So, without a further ado, let's finally run this model and see how she, well, runs.
Nice job. thing called the shunting where I go around and
down to, I think down to 100 now, just over 100, 130 something, which is more. I had a ton of rolling stock, which I got rid of most of that, now I'm down to a reasonable amount, as manageable. Because that's the thing,
So we have reached to the part where I'm going to talk about my final thoughts and conclusions of the SDS Models 900 class locomotive. So the first thing I want to talk about is the price. Now I'm pretty sure the majority of you would have seen in certain shots of my video where I showed the front of the box where the locomotive is, you would have seen that the price tag was around $465. It was just a mistake that one of the guys made at the shop. He did lower it down to $335, which was the right price. The price that you did see on here, which was the $465, is actually how much it's meant to be for DCC. So overall, it was a mistake. He did sort it out and he did fix up his mistake, so that's all fine and dandy. But as far as my opinions are for the actual price, $335 for a DC and $465 for a DCC, I don't really think it's that bad of a price. I mean, when you consider the size of this thing, like, it's pretty gigantic. The second thing I want to talk about is the detail. So, to put it simply, I think the detail is definitely quite spot on most places. I do love the detail all around the model. It does have a lot of separately fitted parts, and the paintwork was also done very, very nicely as well. I didn't see any paint bleed or any bits of writing mistaken or anything like that. So overall, this model does have a lot of great detail. The only part I do have a bit of a gripe with is, funny enough, the cab detail. Now, I know I did say earlier I did quite like that there was some cab detail in there, and I do think it is a good step up from the previous review I did, which were the SDS models NRs, which had no cab detail at all. So it's definitely a step up from that. However, there are still a couple gripes I do have, and the main one is I just wish that they had added a couple little figures in there. It would have definitely made the model look more alive, I guess. But also I do wish that they added just a little bit more, either like painted the cab up a bit more, or just added a few little bit more bits of detail inside. Other than that, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10, to be honest. Very, very spot on. Now, another thing I want to quickly talk about is the lights on this model. Now, for the most part, I really do like all the lights on this model, especially the number box lights and the little lights on the number board on the top of the roof. I think they're pretty sick. However, though, there is one thing that makes me quite puzzled, and that is the fact that for some reason my model doesn't have any marker lights. Now, unless if I didn't read the instructions properly or something like that, I'm pretty sure it does state that it does have marker lights. So, why won't they turn on? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've got a folding model or something. But when talking about that, as you would have seen in some of the clips in this video, one of my friends actually did buy a DCC version of the 900 class locomotive. And as you probably would have seen in some of those shots, the marker lights did work. So it's a bit interesting how my one doesn't have marker lights but his one does. The only thing that makes sense into my head is maybe it's a weird system that SDS models have made where the marker lights will only work if in DCC use, which would be kind of a silly thing in my opinion for them to do. To me, sure, it's a bit of a bummer, but I'm not going to cry over it. But I do know that there would be some people that would definitely be quite annoyed that there wouldn't be any marker lights on the DC variant. But apart from those two gripes, being the cab detail and the marker lights not working on my DC variant, I would probably give it a very high score. However, now I think that's everything I have to say about the SDS Models 900 class locomotive. I do hope that you guys did enjoy this video. I am very, very sorry for how long this video has taken to come out, but I do promise after when this video is released, there will be a lot more videos coming out straight after this. But overall, that is my review of the 900 class locomotive. So again, I hope you guys did enjoy, and hopefully this was worth the wait. Like I said before, I do promise after this, there will be way more videos coming out starting from now. Overall, to end this video off, I'll just say my big thank yous again, and I will hopefully see you in my next video, whenever that will be. So take care guys, and I will see you in my next video.